What we'd now like to do is to go through your guidelines around each of the race distances. So across 5 into the 10K and then the half marathon and the full marathon. If you could start with the 5K and we can run on from there and take us through the tapering guidelines that you would generally use for runners. And I think it's also important for us to say that tapering is such an individual exercise as well. The guidelines are incredibly helpful, but it's really important to make sure that you are really clearly monitoring your training load through your training weeks, obviously having a really good idea of how your heart rate responds to different paces and the impact of those intensities on your body and also your recovery as well. So those are some really important things to consider. I'm sure you've got a few more considerations there as well, Benita. But if we could jump into a 5K and your overall guidelines for tapering there, that would be great.
With the 5K, it's a short distance and we know that we can do a lot of 5Ks throughout the year. So the tapering isn't a long period of time. So I'm looking at probably 2 weeks out. You just got to start reducing your long run volume especially and your midweek run volume if you're sort of running a midweek longer run and a long run on the weekend. So they're probably the two key things. And also you've got to start reducing intensity of your hard training sessions. So say if you normally do 5 times 1K efforts on a Tuesday in normal training. When you start tapering, you might go down to 4 or even 3. So that's reducing intensity. And sometimes you can increase the rest period between those sets as well, and that's letting you run those reps a little bit faster than normal. I would add in a hard 3K or 1500 about 2 to 3 weeks out from race day. So, think about your goal 5K race pace, and then if you add in a really hard run over a shorter distance, the aim is to be running faster than your 5K race pace in that race. So when you get into your 5K, into your goal race, that pace feels a bit slow because you've done that really hard effort. And sometimes those hard efforts, they blow out some cobwebs. And sometimes you might feel that the hard 3K might be really hard, but once you've blown out those cobwebs and done that race, it makes the 5K in a few weeks feel better. And you don't want to be feeling like you did in the 3K in your 5K if you hadn't done a hard effort a few weeks out. So it doesn't have to be a 3K. It could be a 15-minute effort. It could be a 10-minute effort and something that you could just do out wherever you're training. So it doesn't have to be a race, but a very hard effort that's faster than 5K race pace. And, just make sure in the last week before the race, you really make sure you take it easy. And I would do a few race pace efforts probably 4 to 5 days out. So they could be something like 6 times 1 minute efforts with 90 seconds or 2 minutes recovery. And the 1 minute efforts you want to do at 5K race pace, and then you might do some 30-second strides a bit faster at the end. So just make sure you're getting your legs ticking over at about race pace so you're ready for race day and you're not just doing really slow jogs or taking a complete rest in the last week, because we always want to do a bit of race pace work within that last week, but not the day before. So if your race is on a Sunday, you'd probably do that on a Tuesday or a Wednesday of that week. But the main thing is make sure you don't do too much in the last couple of weeks, and reducing the running volume is probably key.